Good afternoon, it's Kate Caruth here, your content alchemist with some content gold on a Wednesday lunchtime. We are in week 6 of my series on giving you insights into different types of content. And we've been hearing across the last 6 weeks from people who are experts in their particular field when it comes to different types of content. And we've talked about video, we've talked about podcasting, we've talked about Canva as a tool for design. So we've done a whole range of different things, and there's more great stuff to come. Today, however, I'm talking to Sarah Swanton of Happy Healthy Entrepreneur. She is a podcaster herself, but what we're here to talk about is about the obstacles that people find for not getting out there and trying different things and doing content. Sarah, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Kate. Thanks for asking. It's nice to see you.
Great to see you too. So let's start. Tell me a bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
So my business, as you said, is Happy Healthy Entrepreneur, and I'm a coach, and I work with small business owners and entrepreneurs to help them get out of their own way. It's probably the best way to describe it, so that they feel more free to be able to get on with what it is they want to do, whether that is creating content or introducing themselves to companies or potential new clients. It's all the stuff that kind of gets in the way, the mindset stuff, and I help them to work through that so that life and work feels a little bit easier and a little bit more effortless.
Brilliant. And it's a fantastic program that you run. So I've had an opportunity to have a bit of a taster session with Sarah, and it's just brilliant. So tell me, Sarah, why might people hesitate about putting content out there?
It's a really good question. And I think looking at it, there's two ways to look at it. There is a lot of noise outside when we go on. We just have to go onto the internet and look at just how much noise is there on social media. And if you're relatively new to business, or maybe not, if you're relatively new to putting content out there, creating content on a regular basis, it can feel really overwhelming. And a common thing that we humans do is compare ourselves to maybe entrepreneurs and business owners who've been doing it for longer. So there's the noise out there that can put us off. And there's also the noise in our heads as well. So, and we can all relate to it, can't we? And that noise often takes the form of fear, particularly the fear of being criticized. So, it can take the form of, what if I spend all this time writing this blog and I'm not even that good at writing, and then when I put it out there it doesn't get any likes, or no one likes it, or it gets criticized, because we see that as well. We see people get criticized all the time and think, I don't want that to be me. So there's a lot going on inside our minds and also out there that can really, it can feel like the only answer is, do you know what, I'm not going to do it, or I know I should, but I'm not going to do it. And or it may be that people do put something out there, but they don't say what they really want to say because they don't want to offend anyone or get it wrong. So they play safe, and that feels like a really good idea at the time, but it's frustrating as well. Sure.
So if someone is procrastinating, hesitating, feeling I'm not good enough, I'm not going to put my thoughts out there, what are some techniques or tools or suggestions that you'd have for people in that situation?
I want to speak directly to that fear of criticism that people have, because I do think it's really common, and it can crop up at any time as well, regardless of how long we've been in business. And I think the first thing to say on that is that when people have a fear of criticism or a fear of failure, the reality is that, yeah, it could actually fail. You know, they could put a blog out or a video out and it could get absolutely 0 likes, or it could just feel like it's going out into tumbleweed. Or they could put something out there and it gets loads of comments, but perhaps not positive ones. Like, all of this is a possibility. And I think that's the first thing to say, is that this is a reality. Like, if we put the effort into something, we never know how it's going to turn out. And that's just the game of being in business and the game of being in life as well. We just never know. But I don't think that's the issue. What I've come to see is that the issue is not that we're going to fail. The issue is not even that we're going to be criticized. The issue is that we think we couldn't handle it if that did happen.
Right.
And the reality is that we might not like it, but we could handle it. And as human beings, I think we underestimate our resilience, like our resilience that allows us to bounce back from challenging situations, or and I'm talking more broadly now in business, but we have that ability to be creative, to improvise, to even be a little self-deprecating if needs be as well. We have all of that available to us in the moment that we need it. So I think just knowing that, like, whatever happens, and I often say this to my clients, and it really helps them out, like, whatever happens, you would deal with it.
Yeah.
And knowing that, it allows people to just move forward a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to do this and I'll just deal with it. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. And seeing it much more from a place of curiosity and being experimental around business a little bit more, and around their content, what works, what doesn't, and having less stock in the outcome, I think, can really help.
Yeah. Brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah.
There's a quote I love when someone's sort of saying to me, well, what if nobody likes it? Which I first came across in Star Trek. I don't know where it really comes from, probably someone like Euclid, where it says there is no such thing as a failed experiment, only more data. And I just think that for me is great, because like you say, there's so much noise out there, and what works for one person won't necessarily work for another. So it's all about that the more you put out, the more data you get, the more information you get to feed that and to grow and to do more. So it's all learning. It's kind of how I try to view it with everything that I'm doing.
And one of the wonderful things about being in business is that there is no rule book, and looking at that from a place of opportunity rather than, oh, I don't know what to do if there's no rules. Actually, it's a really good thing there's no rules. And you know, and that goes for how often you post something as well. Like, it would be wonderful if we could all post something weekly. Wonderful. And if there is the time in the diary to do that, then go for it. But I think quite often people don't post stuff consistently because they've overlooked the basics, where actually, you know, say you want to get a piece of content out on a Wednesday, and you think, right, every Wednesday morning at 7:00 I'm going to post a blog, and that's it, and it's going to happen. But if your Monday and your Tuesday is completely jam-packed with clients or admin, then it's not going to happen. And that's and we're so funny. We are so funny as human beings, because we do overlook the basics. I think as long as the more we can work with reality, the more we're going to thrive.
Oh, that never happens to me.
You're the complete exception to the rule.
I'm completely public. Did you not know so?
I need to learn from you. Yeah,
I did it last week. I think I probably mentioned to you I did it last week, where I filled my diary with lots and lots of great content stuff, getting out there, networking, and then suddenly I thought, when am I going to do work? So that resulted in getting up very early, going to bed very late, which is in the long run not sustainable. So but
that's the thing. It becomes a bit hydraulic, doesn't it? Like you try and find pockets of time somewhere else, and invariably it encroaches on sleep time or
Yes. Who needs
time
to sleep?
yeah. Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much for doing this. That's been really, really helpful for people I know. Now, how can people find out more about you or reach out to you if they'd like to know more about what you do?
Yes, no, thank you. So my website is sarahswanton.com. So that's SWANTON, sarahswanton.com. And the best way to find out more about what I do is join up to the newsletter. I seem to be in a good habit of posting a blog. So I do a blog and a podcast, as you mentioned, and every other week it's either a blog or a podcast coming out. So yeah, if you're on the newsletter, you will get sent links to all of that, so you're on top of it. And then also, when my online program comes out or is running again, which will be in February, you'll also get an invitation to do that if you want to as well, and enroll on the program.
Great. And to sign up to the newsletter, that's from the website, is it?
Yeah, if you go onto the website and then on the tab at the top, it will say newsletter. Just click on there and then you just put in your details in the normal way. And you only get one email a week. So don't plug your inbox too
Great.
much.
Well, we'll put the link to your website in the show notes so that
Wonderful.
So people can just click on the link and go straight there. Thank you so much for your time.
You're so welcome.
And so that's it for this week for everybody. Next week, I'm going to be talking to Jill Robinson of Nexus Creative Print Production, and she's all about the world of print, all of those tangible, solid bits of content that people hold in their hands. But for now, thank you all very much for your time. If you know of anybody who wants to learn more about the tools that we've discussed, wants to learn more about making content work for them, then by all means share this broadcast or tag them in the post below. For now, goodbye from me. Have a golden afternoon.